Atiyullah, Atiya Rasul, ulul amri minkum, and always a reminder from myself, ana abdukal ajizu da'ifu miskinu zalim jahal, and but for the grace of Allah that we're still in existence. Alhamdulillah that Allah granted us our existence and our life and to enter into these holy months. And always a reminder from myself that we talked last night about our life goal is to build our energy in an overwhelming environment of negative energy. The default, because all spiritual religious texts tells us that the devil is after us, negative energy is after us, whatever you want to call it is after us. And Qur'an is very clear and very descriptive that he's coming from 6 directions: in front of you, from the right of you, left of you, behind you, above you, below you, and that he is an open enemy. And our life is to realize that that's a true statement. So reminder for myself that you go into your home, your microwave is trying to kill you, your TV is radiating you, your earplugs are cooking your head, your phone is burning every type of cell within you. And they put in the clothes that you wear made from petroleum products like polyester, and they put the pocket near either your ovary or near your back. So that why? To cook you and fry you. Who's they doesn't matter, but the energy, negative thoughts, negative people who produce these products have no intention for your longevity nor for your spiritual ascension. The dumber they keep us, the more content they are. You said that if people knew that they have how many trillion? 70 trillion volts from scientists, because we take their expressions and bring it back to our spiritual teachings. They admit that within these 20 trillion, 30 trillion cells or 10 trillion, 15 trillion cells there's 3 volts of energy. So 70 trillion volts of energy, and you've come on to this.
As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
This earth with that much power. They asked, then why God didn't allow you to use that power? Well, because then this earth would be like the superheroes, just do whatever you want, moving whatever you want, and would wreak chaos and mayhem. But to remind that you have the potential, you have to reach a level of sincerity and trust so that this is not a harmful energy but beneficial to humanity. And this was the mission of the Prophets, that to each human being they came and reminded that the Divine has attached a devil, and we call qarin. And the purpose of that devil is like a regulator or governor in the car, that if the car can go too fast but they put something on it so that you press it doesn't go more than 60, regulates your power. So that devil's job that cannot deviate from that job is to bring your energy down. What you wear, what you eat, what you breathe, what you believe, what you do, in 6 directions it's his job to attack. So he inspires the person, make a device for them to warm up their food that cooks them more than it cooks the food. Okay. People with negative inclination, they don't understand where the whispering coming from, and so on and so on. From whatever we eat, whatever we're doing, you can't be by default say, I'm being neutral. There's no neutral. You're being cooked in 6 directions and pushed in 6 directions. The tide is geared towards becoming negative because of the negative influence. So it's not that I just be nothing and it'll all happen good, no, it'll actually pull you down. You enter into the ocean, the lifeguard says there's a very strong tide, and unless you're a good swimmer you walk in and you're down 2 miles that way, and if you're not swimming good you actually will drown because it will pull you down. So spiritual paths are coming to people to remind them that we have to build our energy up. And life is a continuous struggle for the energy to go up. This word called peace doesn't make sense. There is no peace. Peace is only achieved by fighting. That we fight ourselves, our desire, our wants, our characteristic. Everything is a battle to achieve peace. It's not just you say, okay, I like the trees, I'm going to have peace. Because we said everything around is attacking. Everything is geared towards pulling my energy. So our life is about, am I willing to battle for my peace? And what the Prophet described jihadul akbar, the word that everybody want to use and scare people with. He said, the great fight is the one who fights themselves, and who knows himself will know his Lord. This means there's no ascension to the Divine with dirtiness, with bad character. Everything has to be a struggle upon this reality, fight every type of bad desire, every type of bad character. Our life is a continuous struggle, more so now than ever. And when we watch the news we see war everywhere. And how can a people be victorious if they're not victorious with themselves? Collective group of whatever people, they're not victorious with themselves, how will they achieve victory with Allah? Just because you came in more groups didn't make you bigger, better, stronger. This was the purpose of tariqahs, that teach people good manners, those whom fight themselves, struggle against themselves, achieve sincerity, lights and benefits. If one is successful, 10 are successful, 50 are successful, then what happens? They're all successful because they achieve success against themselves. This is not about going against others and hoping you'll have success, or when oppressed you'll be successful. Every type of difficulty comes to us as a sign from the Divine. Your microwave is oppressing you, forget about a country doing it to you. The things you buy are oppressing you, do you care? The things you wear are an oppression against you. You know there's a science in clothing and fabric, we've described many times, but when you pull it together you understand truly how you're in attack. Polyester kills you. So when they rated the energies, they say polyester was -15 of, instead of giving you a healing energy, it pulls your energy. Where cotton and wool and linen, they were in plus 5,000. That literally when you put it you were grounded, it rejuvenated your energy. So they used to put hospital beds with linen. Your sheets, they were called linens. Why? So that you're healing at night from whatever negativity, All night long you'd be healed, recharged and came up. The earth and its grounding, nature is grounding, immediately recharges all of the electrons within the body. Soon as you go to work and sit in front of a computer, it pulls all of the energy out from us. So it's a continuous struggle. It doesn't have to be nations fighting you, everything around us is attacking us. So the tariqahs come and spiritual orders come because they work from the world of light and the world of energy to remind us that your struggle is daily struggle. Your daily life is about how to build your energy and not lose it. And you take an account every night that, what did I do to build my energy? And be truthful to ourselves and recognize, if I didn't do enough to build the energy, just like my bank account, what's going to happen? If more withdrawals came that day and no deposits, what's bankruptcy in Arabic? Maflus. You'll be with nothing. So what's the difference between the physical world and the spiritual world? Why would you run your account negative every day? Somebody come in making a withdrawal. And shaitan doesn't take big withdrawals. Yeah? He hit you with a $1 charge. When you see like a $1 or $2, $5 charge, what is that? Is a hacker coming to see if anyone's going to notice before they take it. And you may see $5 token taken from your account over 5 years you didn't recognize. It's not going to take him 500 because immediately it'll trigger all the alarms. The same he does in our lives. He's not going to make the big problems where you say, oh that was a big no-no. It's just leaking. Your spiritual life is just leaking energy and just being depleted until your battery has absolutely no charge. And that's where the negative gets you. If you're no charge and no energy, you become overtaken. Just on the outside laws the same way. If you don't fight you will be oppressed. The boot of somebody will be on your head. So how you're not fighting? Why are you fighting outside first? First fight yourself. To allow yourself to be oppressed by these energies, by these desires, by all these negativities, why? Will it get better? And the boot of oppression upon your head is a relief? This is the divine command. Surah Fath is a tremendous banner of struggle. It's a surah that gives the commands of struggle and the allegiance to Sayyidina Muhammad. Inna fatanaka fatan mubinan. Anybody who wants a victory, you have to be victorious against your devil. If your devil is oppressing you and his boot on your head, how you benefit to yourself, your family and your loved ones? You're not and they're not. And when the shaitan convinced people to leave spiritual paths, you don't need this, let's study the external laws, be mesmerized by how complicated wudu is, jurisprudence is, all these debates. But they left the core of its reality where the turuqs and the ruhani and the teachings of malakut were all the realities of energy. And they were the schools of struggle, they were the schools that built rijalullah, the men of God, which could be men or women, doesn't matter. It means that you're mature in the way of the Divine and you're not oppressed by your devil. Not that every day you're going to win, this is not about being perfect, but taking a path of perfection, that I want to struggle against these things. I need a guide who will teach me about these things. and teach me about the tricks of shaitan. That how is negativity attacking me, how is he whispering to me and how is he continuously fooling me, because the concept of the guide is exactly that. They reach through their hearts, through their seclusions, through all their trainings. They understand the beguiling of shaitan, the tricks and trickery of the devil, because they're not blind, they have hearts to see. As a result of not being blind, very difficult for shaitan to play a magic trick on them. But when people are blind, they don't know who's fooling with them, who's talking to them, who's inspiring them, where the inspiration came from. That's why shaitan doesn't want these servants and doesn't want people enrolled in the schools of servanthood, because they create men. They take boys and make them men in the way of Allah. And these men are trained, don't play with the devil, he's a sworn opponent to you, and don't let him put his boot on your head to be his student. A life of oppression is never going to be a peace for you. So what we see in our lives now, Surah Fath is a great command. The banners of Surah Fath all the nation must raise, outside all their masjids, inside all their masjids, and all that was described in Surah Fath is what? Allah is your creator, Sayyidina Muhammad is your king. And this is the kingdom of God coming onto this earth. A kingdom that has a power and connection to the Creator. And to swear your allegiance to Muhammadun Rasulullah. Your allegiance is not to say only La ilaha illallah, but Allah throughout Surah Fath is telling you Allah and His Rasul. Don't break the kalima in half. And from heavens comes La ilaha illallah, and Allah gave to us to hold to Muhammadun Rasulullah. With what? Divine characteristics, good mannerisms, good every type of character. But without that there's no way for humanity to reach La ilaha illallah. Definitely not by slaughtering people, saying, no, I hold it. But your character doesn't warrant that. And the other one saying, no, God is walking on earth as a human, that He eats, He drinks, He uses the facilities, and for 3 days He was dead. God died? No reach to La ilaha illallah. Empty. So it means when Allah is emphasizing the bay'ah in the surah, why? Innal ladhina yubayyunaka yubayyun Allah. Means that if you want to reach to Allah, take the hand of Muhammadun Rasulullah and you swear your allegiance to Prophet Malik al-Haqq al-Mubeen, Muhammadun Rasulullah sadaqal wahd al-Ameen. If not with the hand of the Malik, you will be oppressed, you will be slaughtered, you will be destroyed. Only by the hand of this sultan and king can people be safe, safe against their own devil and outside devils. Without, what are people going to do? You can't fight your own devil, so what if 10 of you go together, you're going to fight outside devil? 100 of you get together? No, because now you have 100 devils inside of you, they'll destroy you before you even take 2 steps. One whom doesn't clean himself and rid himself of every evilness and wickedness, What does it matter if 10,000 of them stand together? There's 10,000 devils inside of them that will bring them down in one instant. So why awliyaullah come onto this earth and teaching is fight the inner oppression before you even try to think about outside oppression. The outside oppression exists because you've allowed the inner oppression to overtake. I don't change a condition of a people until they change what's within themselves. If the people don't change, the condition doesn't change. Whole bunch of rotten people, going to be a whole bunch of rotten conditions. But beatific people, loving people, good characteristic people, heavenly people whom follow what Prophet brought. Follow the Divinely rules, not the earthly. The Divinely rules, they set a standard much higher than the earthly rules. When they follow that, realize that Allah is my creator and Muhammadur Rasulullah is the messenger of God, means he's the king and the sultan of the heavens. Follow Prophet, make sure that your hand is upon the hand of Sayyidina Muhammad, and then what Allah guarantees, my hand is on your hand. Who has the hand of Allah upon his hand has yansurakAllahu nasran aziza, because Allah hand upon their hand, Prophet hand upon their hand, that Allah said, anything that come in front of you we completely annihilate it and move it out of the way. There is no devil that will come to deal with that power, because the devil sees what we don't see and says, ooh, there's something there, let's go somewhere else. So then this was the reality of the spiritual paths, was to teach people the inner battle, the inner oppression, the inner negativity. What do we see on the world now? Everybody yelling, screaming and talking about what? Outside oppression, and all of them are oppressors to themselves. So it's a collective group of oppression. When you oppress yourself with bad character, what Allah is asking from people, listening to people, God Almighty is listening what? You're oppressing your soul. What I want to hear from you? Just because you want to yell and scream about everything, nobody hears the voice of the soul that's screaming and saying, this person is oppressing me, doesn't spiritually feed me, doesn't do any of the requirements for the soul and the benefit of the soul, and all that it worries about is its physicality. What God going to answer from that? That you're a spiritual being sent for a physical experience. You'll take your last breath and you're not going to take the donkey with you. This body of yours is a donkey. Whatever it got on this earth it will leave it behind. But what did your soul do? And then we talked about the duality of light. If we understand this is about the journey of the soul, then we come to their science and their science comes and teaches, no, we understand and we prove light has a duality. It has a particle and it has a wave. Everything has a wave. If you sit on a bench, look at the power lines, because there's a lot of electricity in the power lines, and you squint your eyes, you see the line moving. Or you sit on like a knoll or hill and you see the grass, it's waving. The earth is waving, we just don't see the wave unless you're spiritually trained. But everybody, 99% of people, they live their life only as a particle. They don't want to take spiritual classes, they don't want to learn how to efface themselves. And that's when we described last night, the one whom effaces themselves begins to see everything. Why? Because they're crushing their particle reality, they're disciplining, take away all bad actions, bad thoughts, bad desires. Fight the devil within you who's blocking you from your way of reality. He wants you to be a particle because particles they separate. The physical world is based on one glass, one glass, one glass, one glass. It's a world of separation. The world of light is based on what? We don't see the glass anymore, but we say the liquid within these 5 glasses must be all one ocean of water, because one drop, one drop, one drop, one drop is how many drops? One drop. Because there's no more form. So the drop came in, became the ocean. The drop came in, became the ocean. Where are the different drops? It's lost in the ocean. Means what? The world of light is singularity. There's no more battles there, there's no more argument there, there's no dogma there. The rules on this earth were to discipline and fight the devil inside, so that you could sit and meditate with a discipline. What to eat, what to drink, how to wash, how to clean. Why? So that devil inside doesn't overtake your meditation and your practices. The food for your soul is your breath and the energy that you're able to bring upon your breath. When you meditate with the consciousness of a guide in front of you, he comes as a buffer to protect you from the beguiling of the devil. Because if you close your eyes by yourself, you don't know who came because you don't see yet. So you just close your eyes and open yourself, I hope something comes. Oh yes, something going to come, but a whole bunch of nefarious things are coming. So when they're taught to meditate and contemplate, that you visualize the guide is with you and their spiritual presence is there as a buffer and protection to help you make your connection, connect to the Divine, connect to the prophetic reality, ask for the lights and the dressings of the light. Then they have a whole science how to breathe, how to meditate. Then do the good deeds and good actions that bring energy to the soul. And they teach you that the shaykhs, when they've been given an ijazah, not every shaykh has an ijazah, most 99% don't have an ijazah. Because they're not certified in the wave reality. They went around and said, you have ijazah, you have ijazah for that. You have, no, but they don't have ijazah. These ijazahs that come, the purpose of the ijazah is to certify this is a wave reality person. They died before their death, and from Allah to Prophet to these awliya, they say, we certify that the Faiz and Wise, their advice, their knowledges, we are reaching through him, and that his wave reality will reach to you. So the shaykh, the real shaykhs are what? You see them particle but they operate through their wave. Their heart and soul is moving in many directions and it's not limited to anything. It's by bi'idhnillah, whatever Allah God Almighty is allowing, their soul is moving. And we said we have to keep that example here one night, or the guys can do it on the anime, is that you block out a room where they used to teach 1,000 years ago. Put a box over the candle and black out the room, nobody sees the light. This is the body of a person, you don't see the soul. But if I pop a hole in the box and pop a hole in the box, all of a sudden you see a light shoot out, then you see another light shoot out, then I pop another hole, another light shoots out. What happens? Means that you see the person as a body but their lights can be shooting in many different directions. So our life was to achieve the wave reality. I lose my particle and then what will God open for me? My wave reality. And when the scientists saw the wave reality, they say it's based on observation. When we don't observe, the light is acting as a wave. So why can't you achieve wave? Because we said last night, the angels are observing you, God locked you, right? Because it's too much power. So the angels sit to observe you, and as a result of them observing you, you cannot reach your wave reality until what? Sincerity. Testing sincerity, good character. God gives the command to the angels, this servant will observe themselves. They don't need you to be a custodian over them. And as a result they observe their own reality, means they reach their ahad and their covenant. When God's describing, I have a covenant for you, you can never achieve it without the bayat, because it has to be through the allegiance of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. And now you're in the school to reach your ahad and your covenant. And that's the covenant Allah give, that the angel move aside, this one will watch themselves, and as a result their soul is in many places. And as a result, where's the most powerful place for them is the presence of Prophet. That becomes the haqiqat of their faiz, the haqiqat of tawajjuh, all of that, because their nazar is immediately they can send their light to the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad asking for permission to be in that presence, and their light sits in the presence of Sayyidina Muhammad and receiving faiz and lights and blessings, isharat and guidance. That's why in the Surah Fath is describing that these awliya, they're taking the faiz and the commands of Prophet, and that Prophet is shahid over his nation, he witnesses them, but they don't witness him and they can't hear his commands, but they do. They hear the command, they receive the command and they give the command. And the command for them was, return back your hand to Sayyidina Muhammad, go back and read Qur'an for your guidance and for your victory. Be victorious over yourself before the boot of oppression lands upon your head, and it will never be lifted. And this is the punishment from Allah, that you didn't want to struggle against yourself, then live with the boot. We pray that Allah inspire within us a strong himmah to come against the negative energy within ourselves, inshaAllah. Bi hurmati Muhammad al-Mustafa, Basira Surah al-Fatiha.
As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments, and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.